Hi everyone, I just want to tell you that if you think you're seeing double, you kind of in a way are. I'm uploading or re-uploading the video I put up tonight because it got a little messed up in the processing. I pulled it down. It's the same video, only this time it's right. Thanks for watching and bearing with me. Michelle here, Thrifting 101. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're stopping in. Got a great haul for you today, so let's go ahead and see what I got. Stopped in the other day at the Enjoy thrift store and I found all of this false graft in the Winterberry pattern. It's one of my favorites. They started producing these in 1991. I think they might still be active. I'm not quite sure, but I think they are. And I paid, let's see, these tall mugs and the saucers. I paid $1 a set for each of these. And I have 4 beautiful bowls, which I paid 50 cents a piece for. I'm gonna ask probably, I think maybe $20 for the bowls and maybe 10 for the cups and saucers, the mugs and saucer sets. And then when I left the Enjoy thrift store, I did stop at the Goodwill because it was right on my way. And look what I found. I found something I've never seen before. Obviously, it's the Winterberry Falls Graft. And it is a tray with a soup bowl on it. I've never seen it before. It's funny how you can go to one store and find something and then go to another and find something else in the same pattern. I have a theory that people break up their sets to different stores to donate. Anyways, I paid $6.99 for this, which is kind of a lot of money for me, but I'd never seen it before, and I was certain I could probably make some money off of it, and I'm gonna ask, I think, $25 for it. You don't really see them listed very often. Also at the Goodwill, I spotted this gorgeous 3-quart casserole dish, and I started to laugh because it's Princess House in the Fantasia pattern. It's in beautiful condition. They started producing Fantasia in 1965, and why I started to laugh is, if you remember on a few videos ago, I found this lid. I thought it was Pyrex. I wasn't really sure. I knew it said made in France. And a few of you told me, and thank you very much, that it was part of the Princess House Fantasia set. And look, it is. It fits this casserole perfectly. They did come with 2 different lids, so I might sell it off as a set with the 2 different lids, or a trio, I guess you want to say. And I'm going to ask about $40 if I list this alone, and probably $50, somewhere around there, if I throw in the extra lid. Just a cute little, probably mid-century stoneware pottery bowl I picked up for myself because of the color. It's my color. I paid $2 for it. It's obviously made in the USA. It says so right there, has a number on there. There's just so much pottery out there, and I'm not all that familiar with it that I didn't really do much research on it because I'm just going to keep it. It's a little crazed on the inside, but I just love the color. Anchor Hocking Fire King in the Chanticleer, I hope I pronounced that right, pattern. They produced that between 1965 and 1967, had a short little run there. And Chanticleer is simply French for rooster, as you can see here. It's got a great rooster pattern on it. And somewhere between 1965 and 1967, they did change the name to Country Kitchen, but I've never ever actually seen a piece listed as Country Kitchen. I'm gonna hang on to this. I have a few pieces in the Chanticleer, and I have introduced roosters into my kitchen lately, so I think I am going to keep these and maybe sell off some of my Nature's Bounty, which is very similar to Pyrex's Spice of Life. If I were to sell it, they go for about $15. It's a little bit bigger than your average bread or loaf pan. Someone asked me a while ago if I run into any whole pottery, and I said that I have run into whole pottery, but not recently, and there you go, I found a piece of whole pottery. It's a planter. It's in the F series, and the F series is part of the Imperial line, and they started producing the Imperial line back in the 1960s. They first started production, whole that is, out of Cooksville, Ohio in 1905, and they specialized in stoneware, semi-porcelain dinnerware, and decorative tile. This is a planter. A lot of people refer to it also as a candy dish, which would make a fine candy dish. And they don't sell for that much, on average of $10 to $15 in this condition and color. They did come in other colors. Picked up this little cutie creamer for 50 cents. It's Mittertech, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right too. It's got a really cool design on it. You can see it's got some birds and some mushrooms, a little sun. And the other side is my favorite side. It's got this really cool retro car on it. The back stamp, I do know, dates it to the 1960s, although I couldn't come up with a pattern name. Probably just had a pattern number to it. Somebody else is listing something similar. Well, not similar. It's the exact same pattern. It's just a cup and a saucer, and they were no help as they did not know the name of the pattern either. Ludwig Widner sold the company in 1885 to a London-based firm, and back in World War I, the Bavarian authorities actually confiscated the company, and they closed doors in 2006. I'm going to ask about $15, I think, for this cute little creamer. Picked up this very cute Lefton birthday doll in the Enjoy thrift store. As you saw, it had its tag on it. It was half price. I paid $1.50 for it, even though I did have a little chip. I noticed that right away. But I figured I'll just put it in my collection. It's not going for resale. And that's probably a really good thing, because when I got her home, I noticed the end of her ponytail was missing. But that's no problem. She will be sitting on the shelf like that. I'm showing you this on my cook's top here. I think that's a little unorthodox, but it shows up so much better on the black. Anyway, I found this in the Enjoy thrift store, and when I spotted it, I just ran right over to it and scooped it right on up before anybody else got to it. It's made by the Fry Company. This piece dates back to 1932. It said so right on the bottom, and it is in the opalescent foval pattern. It's in really great condition. It's a 1.5 quart covered casserole. And they started producing the Foval line in 1926. And Foval is simply an acronym for Fry Ovenware Art Glass. I'm probably going to hang on to this because I don't run across these very often. I've only run across Fry in the opalescence once. That was a few years back. But they do sell for about $25. Well, I keep going back to the Enjoy thrift store looking for the missing saucers to those gorgeous cups I bought in the Homer Laughlin eggshell theme pattern that you see right here. I did not find the saucers. I don't think they're there, but I did find this, and I was really excited to keep finding more items in this pattern. I paid $1.50 for it. It is a gravy boat with an attached underplate. It's one piece, and I wasn't sure if it had a top or not to it, so I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to pick it up. But I did pick it up, and it did not come with a lid or a cover, so I'm good there. And this also, if you remember, I picked this piece up when I went back looking. This is also a gravy or sauce boat. So they're different designs, and they serve the same purpose. I think I might try it, then sell them both off together. Maybe ask about $30 for them, both of them. I found this really cool mug. I paid $2 for it. It's really, really heavy. It's hand thrown, and I like to pick up pottery, especially when it's marked. It's got a gorgeous cobalt blue glaze, excuse me, on the inside. It's really heavy. I'm going to put it down. And it did say Bloomington Pottery on the back of it, so I started researching Bloomington Pottery, and I did find out that they're out of Indiana, and they were in production between 1975 and 1988. But every logo or back stamp I found with the Bloomington Pottery mark on it was not engraved like this one here. It was simply stamped. So I cannot find another piece with that back stamp. I'm not really sure if it's the same Bloomington Pottery company or not, but it's a really cool mug, and I'm going to list it for about 20 bucks. Just a cute little find here. It paid 50 cents for it. It's a hand painted. I'm thinking it's a spoon rest, and if it's not, that's what I'm going to use it for anyways, a spoon rest. It's vintage Japan. Paid 50 cents for this ashtray, and I'm kind of partial to ashtrays. If I find cool ones, I pick them up, and this is really cool. It's Panama Canal, and it's hand painted, and it looks kind of vintage, retro-y to me. They sell for about, I've seen one with the Panama Canal design on it, not quite like this, and it was nowhere near as cool looking as this one, and they were asking $15. So I'll probably be somewhere in that range also. I don't know if you guys have been with me for a while, but if you have, you know I keep mentioning Luray. I want to find a piece of Luray. And I'll tell you, when I found this piece of Luray, I turned it over in the Goodwill and saw that it was stamped Luray. My heart just skipped a few beats. This is my first official piece of Luray I've been looking for probably the last few years. They produced Luray. It was a Taylor Smith Taylor design between 1938 and 1960. And at the time they were kind of competing with the Ballerina Universal, which I had in my, I think it was my last video, and also Homer Laughlin. They were of the same period. This color is Persian cream. It is yellow, but that's what the name is. And I can tell you by the back stamp that this predates the 1950s. They did come originally in 4 colors, which was the Persian cream that you see right here. This is an 11.5-inch platter, by the way. And they came in a surf green and a Windsor blue and a Sharon pink. And in 1949, they introduced a new color called Chatham Gray, which was not quite so popular, and it was discontinued in 1952. So that piece is a little harder to find. A platter like this, probably ask about $20 for it, but I'm not selling it. Time to look for some more pieces. This was a really cool find. I saw it sitting on the shelf and I thought, is that Franciscan Desert Rose? And I turned it over and sure enough it was. I got a little more excited there and picked it up for $1. It needs a little cleaning. They produced the Desert Rose between 1985 and 2003. It's known as the most popular pattern ever made in America. This piece was made in Portugal. They also made a few pieces in addition to California and Portugal in England. I took it home. I've never seen a mini, I knew it was a mini teapot, but I just wanted to do a little research on it, and I did. And I noticed when I did some research that it was missing a piece. I was like, oh, too bad. It's missing the cup that it came with. And about 5 minutes later, it dawned on me that the cup was sitting right next to the teapot, and I just happened to pass on it because I didn't feel like picking up 1 cup for $1. I ran back there so fast, I can't even tell you. And when I got it home, I put it together, and there you have it. For $2, I have the entire set now. I did see somebody on eBay asking $120 for it, but I think they sell more like in the $20 to $25 range. I hope you enjoyed my latest video. My next video is going to be a Pyrex Corning and Corel ware haul. If you like those 3 items, you should like this haul. And if you don't, I hope you watch it anyways. Be well, and we'll see you real soon.
When most people think of industry in Beaver County, they think of steel. But in the early 20th century, it was glass that was king. The glass industry in Beaver County centered on the Rochester area. Rochester Point Bottle Works, Rochester Cut Glass, and Keystone Tumbler were some of the early companies doing glass business in Rochester. In 1872, a young businessman named Henry Clay Fry helped form the Rochester Tumbler Company. The plant would stretch across 11 acres of riverfront property and employ over 1,000 people at its height. In 1897, Rochester Tumbler was acquired by the National Glass Company. Fry would ascend to president of that firm until a February 1901 fire leveled the plant. Fry decided to go alone thereafter, purchasing a large plot of land just north of Rochester. In 1902, the H.C. Fry Glass Company began production at their new plant. Almost immediately, its products became some of the world's most popular, and by 1910, the company had expanded, building a second plant in Rochester and a third in Flemington, New Jersey. At its peak, H.C. Fry Glass employed over 1,000 people in North Rochester. Its products included cut glass, ovenware, tableware, dishware, stone doors, and glass for industrial concerns. The plant also contained its own chemical laboratory and photographic studio. H.C. Fry Glass continued operations until 1933, when the Great Depression took hold in America and made business difficult. Despite its short-lived tenure, the company continues to be appreciated by glass collectors all over the world. The bridge over McKinley Run, which once connected the people of Rochester with the plant, is gone. But this site will long be remembered as the heart of Beaver County.